very early in 2025, all hell is going to break loose.
At the start of the year 2025, unaccountable unease had seized the world. From everywhere, reports began to flood in concerning sightings in the skies, lights, shapes, and movements that quite obviously could not be accounted for. These were no isolated incidents, but rather something that was growing more and more challenging to the public imagination. Yet governments remained silent. Mainstream media offered scant coverage. What was really giving cause for deep concern was this eerie silence. If these were no more than misidentified aircraft or anomalies of weather, then why was the suppression of civilian accounts occurring? Why was censorship going on over videos and posts on social media about these encounters? Something important, the feeling it had grown to be, just was not being told to the public. Join us in this video as we take a deep dive into these strange happenings. UFO sightings. Another upswing in the reporting of triangular aerial formations has been a puzzling phenomenon. In this phenomenon, many people report that they have seen beautiful geometric shapes made up of glowing objects that move gracefully and zigzag in synchronized paths, only to disappear from view without leaving behind any trace. However, it needs to be noted that such glowing specters are not a new topic of debate. In fact, the sighting of dark triangles has been commonly linked with military drills and other unexplained aerial phenomena through the years. Some thinkers and intellectuals believe that such incredible formations are indicative of very advanced flight machines. Such advanced machines are alleged to have been conceived and designed in utmost secrecy, and they are supposedly used for conducting flying reconnaissance missions. Others, nonetheless, claim that aerial performances using such formations demonstrate technologies beyond the ingenuity of present-day humans. Also, the frequent occurrences of such formations in many areas present compelling evidence in support of the presence of some coordinating intelligent agent with the capability to mastermind such occurrences. Another pertinent and significant detail of the sightings and observations of these large-sized military-type drones, particularly at night, is the important fact that they do not belong to the category of consumer drones or even devices that hobbyists typically utilize. Instead, these aerial devices are advanced technological innovations with sophisticated technology and are designed to be highly effective surveillance devices that are efficient in all kinds of environments. However, the most unsettling incident among these sightings was perhaps the incident of the MQ-9 Reaper drone, which was spotted flying silently and almost forebodingly over a neighborhood in the clear light of day. The MQ-9 Reaper is normally used for precision military missions. That it is flying in civilian airspace means certain missions are going on we are not told about. What is of great concern is that these occur over highly densely populated areas, begging what these aerial beasts do. Carrying out surveillance, testing new technologies. Where there is evidence of military involvement, not being officially acknowledged is troubling. There has also been further speculation due to reports of a UAP crash in Hillsborough, New Jersey. A bizarre object was reported to be plummeting from the sky, and the zone was promptly closed off by the government. Federal authorities immediately and firmly took control of the situation, closing off all access to the media and creating a firm security cordon around the crash site. Additionally, social media accounts that tried to spread any information about the crash were immediately censored, thus preventing the leakage of information to the public. One witness managed to record a video of the crash site, which revealed quite visibly melted snow around the wreckage, indicating the possibility of radiation exposure in the area. A few days later, military trucks were witnessed moving silently around the area, overseeing the situation as it continued to develop. These different incidents, if analyzed closely enough, exhibit a repeating and insistent pattern of repression and concealment. It goes without saying, and does not need to be said, that the authorities are fully aware of these incidents, but it is nonetheless a material fact that they actively work to prevent such incidents from entering public awareness and knowledge. The apparent increased appearance of unidentified aerial phenomena clearly merits a more extensive investigation and inquiry. The relevant question is no longer whether or not these anomalous incidents are actually occurring. Evidence of their occurrence is powerful and compelling. The greater concern here is trying to figure out why governments seem so insistent and determined to suppress public information regarding these things. It is of paramount relevance to lay down and emphasize the fact that different aerial phenomena have been repeatedly observed across several continents and many countries across the globe, thus proving that such interesting events must have a distinctly global character. The repeating patterns and shapes of such events, being witnessed on different geographical points, clearly point towards the presence of an intelligent source that displays coherence and consistency in its nature. Public speculations have gone far and wide since there has not been any kind of official reason provided for the situation. While some individuals firmly believe that this might actually be evidence of extraterrestrial life visiting our planet, others propose the idea that these incidents might perhaps be the work of extremely advanced technology developed by other nations around the world. The actual truth is unknown, and there is a list of unanswered questions floating in many minds. This amazing upsurge in unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, warrants a deeper and more incisive investigation that probes the facts of the events. There is a critical and urgent need for more cooperation and coordination between different governments and scientific institutions to aid in demystifying this enigmatic phenomenon that has drawn so many into its fold. The public, as an integral stakeholder in this phenomenon, is entitled to an adequate and clear explanation of the aerial spectacles that have been witnessed, together with an exploration of their implications on national security and global understanding among nations. In the end, it can be said that triangular air patterns are among the most mysterious phenomena that persist in occupying the interest of scientists, the military, and everyday people in a similar manner. With new information continually emerging and available, it increasingly becomes apparent that we are working with a multifaceted and multi-dimensional problem that must be explored so much further and with more transparency on the part of those who are in control. As we delve into the unsettling surge of UFO sightings, a chilling question arises. Could these mysterious aerial phenomena be linked to something far more catastrophic? In the heart of Los Angeles, an unprecedented inferno erupted, raising eyebrows and sparking theories that go far beyond mere coincidence. Let's explore the connection between the skies above and the flames below. LA fires. When the whole sprawling metropolis of Los Angeles itself burst into a raging and uncontrolled fire, an immediate and important question arose. Was this devastating catastrophe merely the product of some unfortunate accident? Or was it rather a part of some intricate and nefarious conspiracy plotted in secret? A lot of debates took place on this topic, but one thing is sure. The appearance of those unidentified flying objects made this already mysterious incident even more mysterious. This fire in Los Angeles is among the most dangerous disasters that have ever taken place in the United States. The intensity of the disaster was such that thousands of people had to leave their homes, and the fire burnt many areas to ashes. The initiation of the fire appeared to be a routine news event, but its quick escalation was simply phenomenal. It was not a routine forest fire accident. The speed and fury of the fire were unbelievable, as if someone had intentionally established the fire. There were a lot of questions regarding this fire. There are those who believe that the origin of the fire can be explained as having been caused by natural causes, including prolonged spells of dry weather and strong winds that have been common in the region. Nevertheless, it should be noted that, even in spite of this argument, there have been various reports claiming that the fire actually began from areas where unidentified flying objects, more appropriately known as UFOs, were reported to have been spotted a few days prior to the actual beginning of the fire. Putting these facts into perspective, it would appear extremely unlikely that such events could be the result of coincidence. Nevertheless, up to this point in time, a vast array of theories and hypotheses has been presented to account for the underlying causes leading to the breakout and intensification of the fire. Experts are of the view that in such disasters, human or natural causes aside, other explanations cannot be ruled out. Experts opine that previous incidents of unusual occurrences or inexplicable events have been witnessed. The experts opine that extraterrestrial life forms can produce such disasters as a test for the Earth's planetary system. The Los Angeles fire can be a novel experience that extraterrestrial creatures have designed. Curiously enough, the very spots where the most widespread occurrence of this catastrophic fire was found were also the hotspots for those same unexplained and unidentified flying events. By the accounts of some of the witnesses, there were sightings of odd, glowing apparitions that were seen plummeting towards the ground seconds prior to the onset of the fires in those areas. Based on some of these interpretations of these events, this event is considered to be a dire warning to humanity, perhaps of extraterrestrial origin from outside our planet. Maybe they want to show that the activities of humans on the ground are not pleasant for them, and this fire can be a representative of their anger. What is the fact? This is still a mystery, but one thing is clear. The relationship between these unidentified flying objects and the fire has amazed everyone. The people are getting more and more curious to know about this mission. Was this blaze the product of a horrific accident? Or was it perhaps some nefarious scheme skillfully devised by extraterrestrial life from another world? The solution to this fascinating enigma may one day be revealed as the centuries pass. But for now, this is one deeply profound mystery. This mystery not only baffles scientists who spend their entire lives trying to solve such mysteries, but also confounds ordinary people just the same and leaves them wondering. The whole world is awaiting the unraveling of this enigma, and perhaps, with the advent of time, there is still hope to learn more about these unimaginable occurrences. Until that time, this enigma will keep our minds bewildered and leave us wondering about these unexplainable events. As long as we see the outcome of this happening, we are not going to close our minds and instead consider the other motives for this enigmatic event. Maybe it is left to future research to finally uncover the identity of unidentified aerial phenomena and their relation to the Great Los Angeles fire in an effort to untangle this enigma. The mystery of UFOs and their possible connection to the Los Angeles fire leaves us with more questions than answers. But just when we think we've seen it all, glowing spheres and orbs appear in the skies, sparking even more wonder and speculation. What's the story behind these dazzling phenomena? Spheres. The glowing spheres and orbs continue to amaze passers-by around the globe with their enigmatic display, drawing the eyes of individuals from all over the world. These shining forms, so bright against the black backdrop of the night sky, have been seen floating in the upper regions of the heavens above us, and many have stopped to give serious thought to their origin and the likely reason for their presence. More recent video footage, which has created a great deal of interest and speculation, appears to depict an enormous green ship that moves quietly effortlessly across the horizon before ejecting a group of smaller, spherical bodies into the air, further heightening the interest in those fortunate enough to witness this incredible sight. These are the anomalous objects that seem to be in a dimension beyond the realm of normal physical laws, suspended effortlessly in the air, merging with other orbs of the same type, and vanishing at speeds that challenge the very limits of our faith and understanding. The experts in the field hazard that these enigmatic orbs could actually be advanced surveillance drones, ingeniously crafted to merge and appear as if they are a natural part of the environment. Some countries, like China, have developed remarkable bird-like drones that can enter highly restricted and secure areas undetected, all in the interest of gathering valuable intelligence. These theories may be able to account for some of the observed sightings. However, it must be noted that a large percentage of the orbs observed seem to make maneuvers that are beyond the capabilities of current drones. They remain stationary in uncontrollable ways and give off light as if they totally ignore the power of gravity. This fascinating phenomenon has resulted in widespread speculative and imaginative ideas about its possible extraterrestrial or spiritual origin, which has created a lot of controversy and debate among scholars and enthusiasts. Some of the descriptions in biblical scripture are quite remarkably similar to the modern-day reports of sightings of glowing orbs lighting up the skies. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verses 15 to 21 to be exact, there is this vivid description of wheels that had a glow similar to burning coals and had the astounding characteristic of moving smoothly in every direction. The imagery is quite close to the descriptions provided in the recent reports of aerial spheres that have been fascinating to a vast number of people. Similarly, Zechariah 5 also speaks of a stunning vision of a scroll in the air, and it seems to be bearing a message of judgment. Therefore, seeing these spheres may mean a kind of divine intervention or a warning sign regarding some things that are going to happen in the future. To others, these mysterious orbs are foreboding harbingers of coming judgment sent carefully to oversee and observe humanity at key and turning moments in time. Others see these heavenly phenomena as the fulfillment of ancient prophecies regarding the end times, a time of immense and transfigurative change that will be preceded and announced by dramatic celestial portents in the skies above. Others see these enigmatic orbs as the product of a new and advanced missile defense system, one that is similar to Israel's highly successful Iron Dome, which is specifically designed to intercept and disable an incoming threat with incredible accuracy and precision. Glimmering orbs hover in front of incoming missiles in video clips of the Israeli military at work, a reason why most believe other countries may be developing such systems. If the United States had invented it, then the technology would have explained why those entities were observed around military camps and war theaters. The spheres perhaps have a defensive function, silently guarding the most critical locations against any perceived danger. Yet it is this denial on the part of the government to accept their existence that leaves people ignorant of potential threats and their solutions regarding the same. As the search continues, the one sure thing is that the enigma of glowing spheres and orbs has intrigued scientific minds and fueled imagination across the globe. Lastly, the sighting of glowing spheres and balls poses a very deep mystery that goes against the very principles that we know exist in the physical laws of our universe. Beyond the questions surrounding the possibility of extraterrestrial life, this sight also raises the debate on a higher technology beyond our understanding, as well as the intervention of God in the affairs of humans. In time, by close observation and extensive research into these unknown objects, we will be able to reveal a secret that can redefine how we perceive the universe and how we fit into it. Glowing spheres defy physics, but what about plasmoids? These energy balls hover with an otherworldly purpose. Could they unlock secrets that redefine our universe? Plasmoids. The mysterious and intriguing phenomenon of plasmoids has not only intrigued scientists, but also fascinated countless witnesses from all over the world. These people are still deeply intrigued by the hypnotic, glowing balls of energy that seem to glide, hover, or navigate in an apparently chaotic way across the wide skies above us. The origins, possible sources, and inscrutable purposes of these unusual entities have continued to puzzle and confound experts from different disciplines and still render them with unanswered questions and a profound sense of wonder even up to the present moment. A plasmoid may be defined, in broad terms, as a singular and intricate formation derived from plasma. Plasma, traditionally regarded as the fourth state of matter, is made up of charged particles that possess the capability to form glowing spheres of light. Ball lightning has fascinated and interested scientists for centuries, and they have worked assiduously to research it as a natural phenomenon of a plasmoid. This is thought to be rare and mysterious because it entails the spontaneous formation of glowing spheres of light during thunderstorms. The truth of the matter is that plasmoids do occur under certain atmospheric conditions, especially when changes in electromagnetic field fluctuation or charged particles within the atmosphere take place. Considering the prevailing and ongoing climatic changes in combination with strange meteorological activity that we have been experiencing, it would follow logically to assume that conditions under which they can appear might be taking place with greater frequency. Such increased frequency of optimum conditions may quite possibly create a greater incidence of reported sightings of these mysterious objects. What one should not overlook, however, is the point that all incidents of plasmoids cannot be explained or measured in terms of natural scientific laws. The activity being observed from such plasmoids is often the opposite of what we conventionally know to be present in nature when it involves atmospheric phenomena. Accounts make the plasmoids float silently, behaving erratically and occasionally in mid-air, vanishing into thin air. The behaviors tend to make one question whether all are of natural origin or some are from an advanced technology source. One of the more prominent speculations positions plasmoids as the unwanted side effects of experimental military aircraft. A number of theories have been put forward by some who theorize that advanced cloaking devices, even energy-based defense systems, might be unwittingly behind the formation of these enigmatic glowing spheres. The distortions that are created in the atmosphere due to cloaking technology, which is specifically designed to make an aircraft invisible either to radar detection or to the naked eye, might be capable of creating manifestations that are similar to plasmoids. There are even some who go so far as to suggest the fascinating hypothesis that such plasmoids could be components of advanced armament systems based on energy. Present research in the defense community is aimed at the investigation and possible use of directed energy weapons, which employ one or more forms of energy like lasers, microwaves, or even very concentrated particle beams that can effectively counter an enemy threat. It is not impossible that such high-tech systems, though designed primarily for offensive or defensive use, could incidentally create plasmoids as a byproduct that could be seen by observers on the ground, appearing as glowing spheres that emit intense light in the environment. The line that can be drawn between what is termed natural and what is identified as man-made technology becomes infinitely finer and more ambiguous when one considers the mysterious and sometimes bewildering behavior displayed by plasmoids. In contrast to drones, which are themselves man-made devices or other forms of aerial equipment, the vast majority of plasmoids have no discernible means of propulsion or conventional mechanism of flight. They hang quietly in mid-air, zip about with seemingly impossible agility, and then disappear at impossible speeds that defy understanding. Numerous eyewitness accounts have been provided by a wide range of witnesses who reported that these events behaved more like living, animate creatures than inanimate machines or technological devices. Curiously enough, ancient texts and manuscripts of various cultures may shed light on and offer insight into what these fascinating plasmoids may represent or mean within a general framework. X. The biblical account in Exodus 13:21 describes how God, in his immense mercy and divine direction, took the Israelites under his care by guiding them through the large and challenging wilderness. He did so by manifesting himself in a pillar of fire during nighttime, which was not only a source of illumination, but also a sign of protection and guidance to his people. Over time, numerous interpretations have been forthcoming, projecting the significance of this pillar of fire, viewing it as an intimate sign of divine presence that provided light and protection along their challenging route. Also, in the book of Revelation, in Revelation 9:2, there is a vivid description of thick smoke rising from the bottomless pit, leading to a pervading darkness that signals the coming judgment on earth. Marked by their intensely radiating and brightly striking presence, plasmoids can quite arguably be stated as a modern manifestation of the biblical pillars, which in biblical scripture are described as being both fire and smoke, signs that were more often than not enveloped in divine association or used as warnings to those who beheld them. The book of Matthew, the 24:29, speaks of celestial disturbances as a sign of the end times. These unexpected sightings of unexplained lights in the sky can be attributed to being part of these heavenly signs mentioned in Scripture, which science cannot explain. Plasmoids can represent the thinning veil between the ordinary and supramundane realms, setting the course of man unto a time of reckoning. In addition, the study of plasmoids raises fascinating questions regarding how far science can proceed and how much further mysticism lies. Some explain their operation on the basis of natural processes, while others define their structure as at least half of a high-tech technology beyond human imagination. The enigma of the plasmoids testifies, in a very important manner, to the very little man actually knows about how the universe operates and what can be accomplished through ingenuity. It is only logical that, as these tireless scientists continue their devoted study of these fascinating orbs, they will be able to unlock mysteries that are still unknown and unexplored to our current knowledge of the higher disciplines of physics, as well as the nature of existence itself. Indeed, the allure of plasmoid attraction does not lie in its visually striking perfection alone, but in the vast potential that this kind of research can provide in rewriting and reconceptualizing our understanding of the universe, as well as our meaningful position in it. Plasmoids challenge everything we think we know about science and technology, but they aren't the only mystery in the skies. Imagine encountering a strange fog, one that doesn't drift like normal clouds and seems to defy natural explanation. Could it be another clue in the puzzle of unexplained aerial phenomena? Fog. There have been some recent reports of strange atmospheric phenomena, among them in recent times. One of the occurrences that has received a lot of attention is the existence of enigmatic mists different from ordinary weather fog. Such types of unlikely clouds often appear without any surprising natural cause and are often connected to the phenomenon of flying discs or other unseen manifestations of the sky. The bizarre frogs, witnesses attest, have a different odor and texture than the common sort. They remain in particular locations before vanishing as abruptly as they appear in the majority of instances. They do not even seem to drift like normal fog. When the bizarre fog does occur, it is usually with sighting reports of glowing spheres or triangles in the atmosphere. There are numerous theories that try to explain their origin. Some think it could be the result of advanced technology experiments being conducted, perhaps aircraft experimental ones or stealth technology capable of creating a type of local disturbance of the atmosphere that causes a cloudy shape. Stealth systems used to hide the aircraft from radar and visual detection could very well create air pressure and temperature disturbances, which can ultimately produce these bizarre cloud formations. However, this particular hypothesis fails to adequately and completely explain the bizarre and strange nature that has been described by numerous eyewitnesses who have encountered these phenomena. Another possibility that has been speculated is that these unexplained clouds are indeed extraterrestrial in nature, with the suggestion that they may be employed as a form of communication or as a cloak of hiding for entities that are foreign in nature. Biblically, clouds and vapors have been associated with the presence of God, spiritual significance, and an aura of mystery for centuries. In the Holy Scripture, God speaks to Moses from the midst of a thick and impenetrable cloud, which stands as a stark reminder of his infinite power, authority, and heavenly majesty, as seen in Exodus 19:9. In the book of 1 Kings, in chapter 8:10-11, it provides a vivid description of the great temple of the Lord becoming filled with a dense and majestic cloud, a powerful symbol of his divine glory. These descriptive verses provide us with the idea that clouds and mists signify a type of veil, or divide between different realms or worlds, as it were, a physical, tangible manifestation of something that is beyond the full grasp and comprehension of the individual. In the same manner, darkness and mist follow the plagues and judgment in Revelation 8:12 and Joel 2:2. It would be a period when everything would be upside down, as he would desire. The coming of these unexplained clouds, in light of which all visibility is interfered with, thereby causing terror, can be deemed a modernistic fulfillment of these prophecies. Some see them as a sign of the veil between the material and spiritual realms becoming thinner. When these clouds appeared with these events, they perhaps were symbolic that there was a supernatural power at work, and man was privy to one of those moments of gravity. Beginning from the initial stages of 2025, ranging from UFO appearances, spheres and plasmoids to unusual clouds, something colossal is afoot. Though there will always be reasons in the direction of advanced technology and natural factors, some room must be allowed for the biblical prophecies in order to make sense of them. Across the centuries, the heavenly signs have been understood as warnings or communications from above. The challenge such events pose to the human mind today is irrefutably profound, and irrefutably demands a complete reconsideration of our view and comprehension of the world, and what exists beyond it. Whatever they may be, whether tests by the military using new technologies, alien visits, or some profound spiritual omens, there is no doubt. Because of them, we have to accept an undeniable reality that cannot be denied. We stand at a turning point in human history. The clouds that blow past our skies appear to be speaking. Are we actually listening? These are the kinds of deep mysteries that compel us to think long and hard about the hidden significance that they may hold for our collective fate and the part that we play in the vast and complex tapestry of the cosmos. These mysterious clouds arrive as a warning, reminding us of how little we know about the governing principles that determine the workings of the cosmos, let alone our place within it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section on what you think about these strange sightings, whether you believe they are real or not, or any other view you may have.